Good afternoon. We'll introduce you to a young man doing fantastic things here in Louisiana. We'll catch up with the families of Devin Page Jr. and Allie Rice, but we'll start with our coroner who's going to talk with you about where we are on the homicides and the overdoses. Roll it, Scott. That much closer to Thanksgiving, my all-time favorite holiday. All there is gathering together, eating like you just got out of prison, and then watching football all day. What could go wrong? Let's start our conversation this evening with Dr. Bo Clark, our coroner here in EBR. How you doing, brother?
Doing good, doing good.
It's been a little while.
Sorry I'm not as dressed up as you are.
It's all right. I came this close to wearing a bow tie.
Okay.
I came this close to getting one because you do it to me every time. Before we get into the big subject of overdoses, which has been something that's kind of been a big topic around the country, let's talk about homicides here in East Baton Rouge Parish. As coroner, obviously, you keep the numbers for the entire parish, not just the city limits and the areas patrolled by the sheriff. We're at 82 as of earlier this week, knock on wood.
Yes.
Last year, we topped out at 135 homicides, so we're down. Is there anything you can attribute to this reduction?
Not really sure. I think there's been an increase in police presence on the street in regards to narcotics suppression with the sheriff's office narcotics team, and I think a lot of times that suppressive effort kind of bleeds over into what we're seeing with the homicide rate. So it's a good thing. I mean, we hit an all-time high not too many years ago, and now we're starting to see we're back into the double digits. Of course, we'd like that number to be zero.
Yeah.
Is ideal, but it's nice to see that that number is trending down.
Yeah, you talk about the all-time high in 2021, 170 across the parish. So, obviously gun violence has been a big part of the discussion. There's a new administration coming in and they're talking about turning the screws a little bit on the way we treat violent actors on the streets. And I don't want you to get into the politics of that, but you do, as coroner, deal with these families. You're one of the first people that they engage when they've lost someone. I think that there is value in reevaluating who gets to go back on the street in quick time.
Absolutely, absolutely. It would be interesting, I guess, as a future thought, if they would bring my office into the mix on that decision, which is nothing really.
What would you say?
Well, if somebody's committed a violent crime, then they have a high propensity for committing another violent crime.
Right.
Until you get them beyond a point of rehabilitation where they're no longer a threat to do that. And if you let them go soon or often, which sometimes we even see those cases where people are taken into prison or jail and then released again and over again, that recidivism just leads to more community outcry because of continued homicide rate that climbs.
Well, we hear that from law enforcement, that it is this small group that keeps doing it over and over and over and over again. And I think if you know where some of these bad actors are, in just a moment we're going to talk with Kathy Tolliver and Paul Rice, connected to Devin and Allie. And I think we should think about these families sometimes and not just the politics when it comes to this thing. All right, overdoses. Man, fentanyl has been taking people out right and left. There you see the number. Over the last few years. In 2012, it was 28, and then it hopped to 66, and we had nearly 300 last year. Let's talk about why this is so out of control.
So the opioid epidemic's been raging now for about a decade. I was the first one to bring light to it in 2012, and we've just seen the numbers increase time and time again. What's concerning me the most right now, as of today, we've had 8 probable overdoses in the last 7 days. So with our total year to date being 242 overdoses, if we kind of put a trajectory on that, we're again looking at another year that's going to be around 300 overdoses.
It's crazy. You had 242 in 2020, 311 in 21, 296 last year, and you're talking about being on a trajectory to be over 300 again. A big part of this is people lacing other things with fentanyl and not knowing the balance and killing their customers.
Correct. So when we go back and analyze the last 3 years where we saw these numbers that were at 300, near 300, what we're able to determine now is that fentanyl is being laced into other drugs such as cocaine, methamphetamine, and marijuana. So no drug really is safe from being adulterated by fentanyl. So a person who normally never would be an opioid abuser goes and buys their methamphetamine, buys their cocaine. The next thing we find out is that they've died of an overdose, and it was the fentanyl that was in those drugs that killed them. And so because of this phenomena, which we call an adulterated drug, an adulterated illicit drug, you're seeing those numbers get driven really, really high. Since 2015, when we first saw the emergence of fentanyl in our community, we've worked 1,067 fentanyl deaths.
Do you think the public is taking this as seriously as it needs to?
Well, I think the more people I have the ability to talk to about it, the more times the light bulb goes off and they go, well, maybe we should take a second look at that. So I've made my mission this year to reach out and talk to as many groups as I can to give them this information so they can act wisely.
Is there legislation coming next year?
Well, there was legislation this year that enhanced penalties for the distribution of fentanyl. Okay. And so we'll have to wait and see what that does, but it can only make things better by getting the fentanyl dealer off the street.
Best coroner in the state of Louisiana and always accessible. Go to his website and also learn about Operation Safe Sleep, a fantastic program that deals with SIDS, and it's something that the coroner talks about all the time, that we can deal with that. We can make that number zero.
We can.
Just by doing something smart. I appreciate you, brother.
Thanks.
Up next, Paul Rice and Kathy Tolliver are going to be here to talk about how they're doing and the Paige Rice Camera Initiative. And then Grayson Augustus will be here to get you very right for the holidays. And two of my favorite people are up here at the desk with me. The great Kathy Tolliver, friend of mine for a long time, and one of my new dear friends, Paul Rice. Kathy is the grandmother of Devin Page Jr., and Paul is the father of Allie Rice. And we talk all the time, but we wanted to catch up with y'all. First up to ask, how are you? How's your family? How's everything going?
My daughter, Ty, is just taking it hard, taking like life is hard. And so I've women coming up to me, mothers coming up to me constantly because they, wanting me to know what's going on with them, that they lost a loved one. I mean, every day you are hearing on the news that somebody has been shot, and these young people are out of control.
Yeah.
So what I've been doing, I actually went and prayed, God, what could I possibly do to help these mothers? And so what I'm going to do is now I'm going to build city walls. They're going to be called City Walls of Love. And what that's going to be, I'm going to have pictures of those who have been killed by senseless gun violence. And those pictures, so when people, like you have the memorial wall for the veterans, but this wall is going to be pictures on it, and I want them in the inner city. So when people are driving around, they'll be able to say, that's my child. They're not forgotten. Because they're approaching it, whether it's in the grocery store, whether I'm at work, Kathy, I need help. And so I want to start the healing process to let them know that their loved ones are not forgotten. So y'all call me, because we need some sponsors, to get these walls up. Y'all call me.
Paul, how about you, man? How you been?
Well, I could echo what Miss Kathy was saying about her daughter, Ty. I mean, we're going through the same thing. I know there's books probably written on this, but of course we don't read these books before something like this happens, and in no way prepared for what life was going to be like after this. I mean, it's been over a year later, and we're still triggered by everything that happens in our community. Just a couple days ago at Dutchtown High School, they had actually all the Dutchtown schools, they had a lockdown, chasing somebody in the vicinity there. My kids didn't take that very well.
Right.
They don't know what's going on. They don't know if they're going to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, like Allie was. And they're, sitting there having panic attacks over what happened to her. And I was sitting last night at home just getting my hair cut. My wife's cutting my hair for me, and I'm looking across the room. My eyes are on the picture of Allie the entire time. And I just anger building up that we still don't have answers. We still don't know why, and nothing has changed. That we're still waking up every morning to a new shooting, a new homicide. It's frustrating.
Well, y'all saw that I had Dr. Bo Clark here a second ago, and I talked about the perspective of the families that have lost loved ones, and so many people get lost in the shuffle because after time, people move on, they forget. The story of Baton Rouge will never be told without mentioning Devin and Allie's name. I mean, we have an initiative named after them that's targeted at doing the work of ending some of this violence. You talked about turning your pain into purpose, and I know that, Paul, you've done a lot of that as well. Tell me about that. What keeps you motivated to be involved helping people when you yourselves have been victims of this senseless violence?
You know, I hurt. You know, the pain is driving me. You know, it is the energy. The pain is my energy to get out there because I am approached. Thank God for you, because you put us out there, you made us known, and now that we're out there, people are approaching us, and I'm able, when I have somebody just yesterday come up and tell me, you know, Kathy, I'm hurting, my child was murdered, or my child is in trouble, or my child is on drugs. It's because of, you know, a lot of it has to do with because you gave us the platform to get out there. And so I am out there. I'm telling you, I'm building these walls because we need to start the healing process in this city every day.
Do you feel heard?
Oh my God, that is a good question. I posted one time, I said, are y'all hearing me? Are y'all hearing me? And the response was, thousands of people responded, we hear you. But a lot of people are afraid, Clay. They're afraid. And I am not. You know, it costs, you know, I don't mind standing out there. I'm on the street in the high crime areas. I am. I'm out there, okay, with the microphone, with the team from Living Faith. And we're telling people to put the guns down. Or we're saying, look, there's other things that you can do because people are hurting mentally. They don't know what to do. They don't. So what do you do with the pain? For me, I'm out in the street. For him, you know, it's something else. For my daughter, it's staying in her room. But for other people, and I'm saying, look, there is hope. There is help. And I'm never going to shut up. Never going to shut up.
One of the days I look forward to the most doing this is when we can take those pictures.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
They're going to stay there as a part of what we do until
my God. Thank you,
find out.
Jesus.
But I look forward to y'all being here.
Woo!
And we are going to do it.
Thank you, Jesus.
And I do believe that we will not let the murder, the theft of these kids be in vain. And that's important to me. Quickly, the Live Like Allie Foundation, where's that? I got about a minute. You want to give an update on it?
We had a couple of good fundraisers over the last couple months, you know, coinciding with our 1-year anniversary. Actually raised a good bit of money with the Shed hosted a volleyball tournament. Walk-ons gave us a give back day. So right now we're looking to really get a good jump at the beginning of the year. Going to spend most of the next couple months finishing up whatever paperwork's remaining, get the website up and going, and we're going to start going full force.
Well, you know, I love you both. You always got a
Love
spot
you
here.
too. I need some sponsors too. I need some sponsors. Call me.
Don't y'all make Kathy come find y'all. Back in just a moment. So you know, one of my favorite things about doing this show is being able to highlight talent from not just Baton Rouge, but from the region. And this young fella here, Brandon Harris, is with Bloom Booking. We met a couple weeks ago, and I wanted to give him a chance to tell a story. First up, what is Bloom Booking?
All right, so Bloom is a digital platform connecting performers and venues to book anytime, anywhere. We're like the Airbnb of the music industry. So our goal is to really revolutionize and streamline the booking process so that you can book anytime, anywhere.
So this is both for someone looking to book talent and talent?
So yes, right? So you have, I like to tell a little story. There's a small mom and pop shop. There's actually a great restaurant, local restaurant called Pit and Peel. They have some amazing country fried chicken wings.
Oh man.
Great food, right?
Write that down, Scott.
The only thing that they lack is an audience, customer base coming through consistently to really engage and enjoy what they have to offer. So that's where we got really creative with Bloom, and we said, you know, if you're a restaurant, you're a small venue, you're a theater, and you have this space, why not connect connect with a talent who has a great audience. At the same time, I like to highlight a performer by the name of Josiah Shiloh. So Josiah Shiloh has a really great voice. He makes really human music. He's amassed a great fan base, and all he's looking for is places to perform. So why not bring the two together?
Huh, that's interesting. So you connect a venue or a place with an influencer, and so they both get the benefit. They have a venue where they can perform their art, and then you get an audience out there.
Yes.
Where did you come up with this concept?
So myself, I've been in the entertainment industry for over 10 years. I'm only 28, but that's still, you know, a large portion of my life. And in which case, I started to really realize that this is something that really brings the community together and empowers both sides. So last year, I did over 100 events, in which case it was really testing out the platform, testing out everything that we're trying to do, and really connecting with small businesses to really understand some of their pain points, connecting with performers and artists, understanding their pain points, and then really trying to create something that acts as a solution.
So, you know, I'm a dinosaur of advertising and media, nearly 30 years in.
Yeah.
And I love younger folks coming up and being able to use the medium in this newest evolution of what media is. When I got started in this, man, there was barely an internet.
Yeah.
And so now everything is so based on what's online. For some young person who is either in school or at home and they think they've got an ability to do this, what would be your advice to get them to launch?
I think the main thing that separates a, let's call them a basement producer or a performer from someone who is, you know, a megastar or a superstar. The biggest difference is the team, right? So with Bloom, Bloom is acting as that support, right? So now they don't have to worry about, oh, I don't know that person, because now you do. They're at a click away. So outside of that, we have additional services that we offer to really, again, creatively assist that performer to really become the hero that they want to be.
What is the area that you target? Justin, we had 30 seconds.
Oh man, we're everywhere. Right now we're in Baton Rouge, we're expanding to New Orleans, Lafayette, and then from there, Atlanta, Chicago, Dallas. It's scalable, so we can go anywhere.
What's the web address? How can people find you?
Bookbloom.app.
Bookbloom.app. What is that quickly here? Is that a...
Oh yeah, this is just a jersey to kind of highlight the apparel abilities that we have, right? So as a performer.
All right, so I got 10 seconds. Perfect segue. Apparel. Oh man, Grayson's back. Let's talk about that next. Oh, Grayson Augustus is back. He's a bad man, and he built this bad joker right here that's getting all this love on the set today.
Looks good, man. Looks good.
Those are some images of what you can get at Pierce Bespoke. And, you know, we talked about this a few weeks ago, that especially for people thinking about gifts for either a guy or gal, you can do custom. And whether you are in business or you're looking for custom leisure wear, moving around, going to dinner parties or whatever, it's something to consider. So for the first question out the chute is, how expensive is this stuff? Am I going to break my bank trying to get it?
No, one of the big things we pitch as our competitive advantages. So we're talking about affordability, right? Not cheap, but affordable. So our suits start at about $1,000. Yeah. And then they go up from there. We can build you a top-notch suit for $1,000, and I mean everything's included. Your custom buttonholes, your liners. You can build the look that you want. Like this suit that we did here, you and I literally sat.
That's right.
And you threw ideas at me, and we put
Crazy
it together.
Stuff too.
And that's a one-off. Nobody else is gonna have that suit.
No. And it's so funny. Kathy was talking about it up here. The other thing people do is they touch your stuff when it's custom too. It's like I got to do something about that. But all right, right now, if you're thinking about the fall, what should be in your closet, man?
Right now, you want to start getting out your heavier wools, like your heavier fabrics. Overcoats. It's a good time for overcoats right now. The best thing about it is, like, your young professionals, when you're thinking about holiday shopping, your young professionals, your guys doing internships, your ladies doing internships, and we can custom build them. You know, they can be shorter, they can be longer. We can customize them on the insides as far as your liners, things like that. But those are the things you kind of want to start rolling out right now, those heavier fabrics.
There's a good friend of mine, we won't call his name, who just got his first custom job that you delivered to him maybe 3-4 weeks ago, and he's in love with it. And the thing that he talked about is it's authentically him. He chose the color, he chose the cut, the design, the style, And I tell people who wonder, it's like, it's more of a longevity thing. Like custom, I have suits that are older than my youngest child. So, and he's at LSU. So, you know, they stay around forever.
Yep.
And as opposed to some off the rack. Now, I was talking to Brandon Harris about this earlier, and I would be remiss if I didn't ask you, why did you choose this profession? You could have done anything, whether it had been in athletics or coaching or whatever. Why'd you choose to do this?
Well, it's part of it is the fun of it, right? The being able to create something, being able to bring people something that they enjoy, that they love. I mean, there's nothing like seeing a customer when they're happy. Mm-hmm. So when I walk in and I see you smiling and you're excited and people are complimenting you in your suit, that's part of it. The other part of it is being able to do something. It's almost like artistry. Mm-hmm. So it's, in my own layman terms, anyway.
No, it is artistry.
But it's a type of artistry, yeah. You're creating something special for someone, and it's your brand, and it's something that you cannot duplicate.
How do you keep a lid on Nathan? You want to talk about excitement and energy, Nathan Pierce. How do you keep him tamped down a little bit?
We don't keep a lid on Nathan. You don't keep a lid on Nathan. You pacify Nathan a little bit, but you don't keep a lid on Nathan. That energy is contagious. It's infectious. God. And we run with it, and we go out there and we create beautiful suits for customers, and we make them happy.
And y'all are expanding not just across Louisiana, but across the country.
Yes. When I started, I've been with the company 7 months now. When I started, we had 4 territories, and now we're up to almost 30. We're up to almost 30, all the way from Louisiana to San Francisco.
So the biggest don't, and I'm always hesitant on giving people don'ts on something they pay for, but the biggest don't you would give a person who's thinking about buying their first?
Don't go too crazy.
Yeah.
That's the biggest don't.
No Easter Bunny suits.
No, don't go too crazy. Like, you want to get something that you're going to cherish. You always want to go back to that one suit. We all have that one suit. You go back in the closet and you look at it and you're like, man, that's my one. Right there, right? That's my one.
All right, so what's an example of crazy that you've seen?
The craziest thing I've ever seen is I had a young man for an interview. I tried to advise him against it. He went three-piece suit, jacket, vest, pants, for people who don't know what a three-piece suit is, and he went like straight like red. And I was just like, young man, this is gonna be your first impression. Let's go with the basic custom suit. And he wanted to go all out, and that's his first suit.
He wanted to go all out, and I'm sure that's what they wanted him to do at the interview.
He did.
Go all out of here. Brother, I appreciate you, man.
Absolutely.
Grayson Augustin, Pierce Bespoke Suits, all over the country right now, and I'm so proud to be a customer of them. Hey, you guys have a fantastic weekend. We're getting closer to Thanksgiving, maybe a little gumbo next week. That's right, Scott. Y'all have a great weekend. See you next week.